I'm back, and so are you. Thanks very much for choosing to stop in and check out the TVRC channel. And I'm excited to get in front of the camera again and talk to the audience and talk about what's been going on the channel. Now, I've had a lot of busy things going on since the Vintage Bash had ended. I've edited some videos now. They're up on YouTube for people to check out. I've done the very best I could with the let's just say the gremlins I was dealing with down there, and many of you who were there would have seen me just about ready to throw my GoPro into the bushes somewhere because the camera just kept shutting. Well, in fact, I got two Hero10s and they kept shutting down. And under further investigations, I think it was really just the batteries. They were so old, and although they were saying they were fully charged, 6 seconds in, the camera was shutting down and the footage was lost. So, and not only that, I had some other things going on where the camera decided to record in a different setting, and it's so hard to know until you get back and you look at your footage on the computer and go, wow, okay, that got messed up, which did. So what I've done is a friend of mine, Lee, over in the UK, he mentioned to me, why is it that you don't have a buy me a coffee account? And to be honest with you, I didn't really ever feel good about asking for anything. But, you know, the time has come. You know, I'm spending all this money on camera gear, audio gear, the software upgrades, even the subscriptions that I pay to get this kind of content onto the air. And so I started up a Buy Me a Coffee account, and with the intention, of course, replacing the Hero10 cameras that I had, even just with one new action camera, which is right here on the table. So I just wanted to say a very big thank you to those who chose to donate via the Buy Me a Coffee website, or whatever you want to call it, because most of that money helped me pay for this camera right here. So I've now got a Hero13, and after doing a lot of research and a lot of speaking to a lot of people about different action cams, and considering the fact that all I really want to do is mount this camera on the pole and go out to the track, and there's usually a lot of daylight out when I'm actually filming. So low light, this camera is terrible, but a lot of light, this camera comes into its own. So, you know, a lot of people over the years have seen me run around on the track with a GoPro or two extended out on these poles here, and I'll be laying in the grass or in the dirt or kneeling or crouching or whatever, and I'm trying to go around and capture the action of, you know, everything that goes on in that car around the corner and over the bumps. And, you know, I'm trying to get the best quality footage I can in 4K at 120 frames per second, so that when I slow down that footage in post-production, I get those really cool slow-mos where you can see everything happening, even the dust flicking up off the tyre and the suspension working. And I'm sure if you looked hard enough, you might see some of the oil being squirted out of the shocks. I don't know, but maybe the new Hero13 is going to deliver that level of viewing experience. So thank you very much. I'm going to leave your names in the description, and anyone who wanted to be named, I will. And I do appreciate reaching out. So not only I had some people send me some money into my PayPal, which I'm going to add in the description if you want to donate and help me pay for these things, because a lot of the time I'm actually not filming my own cars. I'm filming everyone else's cars. I get to these events, and sometimes I'll sit out from a race or a heat. I've even been to events and not driven at all. I've just taken my cameras, I've taken my drone out there, and I've probably annoyed a few people in the process. But, you know, the footage you get from some of these events, especially for those who can't get there from across the globe or across the country, or, you know, whatever, your wife won't let you out of the house. You know, I'm doing that and have been doing that for some time. So it's not a promise I'm making you. It's an ongoing experience, and I'm continuing to provide for the viewing audience. So yeah, thank you very much for anyone who helped me. I'm going to link my PayPal account in the description, also the Buy Me a Coffee account in the description if you wanted to donate. It doesn't really matter. It could be a dollar, it could be $100. In fact, I have had some people donate $100, which just blows my mind. So yeah, thank you very much. It's no small thing. It's very much appreciated. And such is this deal over here. So yeah, my friend, he is in Australia. He doesn't want to be named just because he's a very humble gentleman, and he prefers not to make it about himself. But yeah, so even Keith over in RC Icons, him and I have had conversations over this model for some time. In fact, he said, "Oh look, I'll keep an eye out for you," and you know, he'll be over on Buyee and places like that, and he'll be seeing them. And I'm kind of and ahhing because I've owned a B3 car back when it was the latest thing, the B3. I think it was the last incarnation of the B3 I had, and it was a cool car. I never really got to race it. I bought it, and I just, you know, I took it to the track a few times, and it was long before vintage was ever even thought of. I bought it, I drove it, I experienced it. Didn't love it, I didn't hate it, but I just didn't. It just didn't connect with me. It wasn't old enough, but here we are all these years later, and I probably would like a B3 now. I know they're a great car. I've seen people do really well with them, but Team Associated hasn't been a brand that I really adhered to, and not for any other reason that maybe just because I see enough of them out there already. I just prefer the obscure models and the things you see less of, because if people like myself bring obscure vehicles like this one here to the track, then people get to have their eyes open to what's actually out there, and they're not always really just, you know, drinking from the same cup, experiencing the same boring car over and over again. And that's what vintage events are so good for, because people will bring out the weirdest, wildest, wackiest things, custom builds, like, you know, complete ground up fabrications of bits of cars. You know, Bill down in Melbourne, you know, the cars he brings to the bash, it just blows my mind, and you've seen them in some of my videos if you've ever seen them. So yeah, anyway, so I don't want to drop his name. Let's just call him the Mysterious Benefactor. The Mysterious Benefactor sent me this car, and in the message, I've never actually even spoken to this person on the phone, but I'd be happy to, by the way, so I'm happy to exchange numbers and have a chat. But anyway, so he sent me this car, and he said, look, you might not thank me when you get it. Look, you know, I was opening up the box, and I could see this underneath the bubble wrap, and I'm like, no, can it possibly be like an Ultima RB Type R? Like, I fascinated one over for such a long time, and it's just the prices have been so damn high, and I didn't want to spend, you know, 1800. Actually, no, I had a couple of new in-box kits that were offered to me a while ago. I think one might have been new built, one was a new in-box kit, or maybe both were built, but they're like $1,800 US, and I'm like, I can't spend that. That's just crazy. I'm a single dad. I live alone, you know, single income, and yeah, I just don't have that kind of money to throw around. And, you know, I'm very fortunate that I bought my collection a long time ago, and I just don't have that kind of money to throw around now. So this thing turns up, I hurriedly open up the box, and I pull this thing out, and I'm just like, wow, I just couldn't believe I was actually looking at one. So here we are. Let's take the body off. You know, it's used, which is fine. Yeah, I'm going to pull this thing right apart and clean it up. And anywho, it's just got some really cool, unique features. It's got like a blue finned alloy motor plate here. Now, I don't know if this is actually an Evolution, but anyway, the sticker on the box does say Evolution now, which I can't say it is or it isn't. I don't know enough about it yet, but I'm going to pull it right down and clean it up. And I do have a manual here. Now, this manual does say Evolution, so at least the pictures in here are going to correspond to whether or not it is an Evolution. I think it actually might be. But anyway, so in fact, you know what? There's something else going on here. I actually have a second car, so yeah, this is just wild. Okay, so just bear with me a minute here. So I think this is the car he initially sent me. Now, it wasn't wearing this body though, because I think the body was on that chassis. But I messaged him and I said, mate, I'm just so blown away by this car that you've sent me. And I said, I just relayed the story of how for such a long time I've been on the cusp of grabbing one. Now, I'm not saying that these later model cars, are really my cup of tea, but the Type R certainly has been, because I love all the Ultimas, and this was the last one I ever really knew of before they went to the really modern car. So it looks a lot like a B3, in lots of respects. So anyway, the mysterious benefactor, he said to me, you know what? I'm going to send you another one, and I'm not going to hear no. I'm like, another one? I'm like, why? And he's like, I had no idea that you'd even like it. I said, like it, mate, I love it. I said, I just can't wait to pull it down and clean it up and rebuild it and get it out for a run. And he goes, I've got 2 used ones. You can have them both. And he says, I won't hear no for an answer. And I was like, what? Anyway, so yeah, that's what happened. The mysterious benefactor sent me 2 Ultima RB Type Rs. Now, I think there are some differences. Like, this one does not have a finned motor plate. They're both blue. They've both got blue plates at the back. Even the front shock tower looks like a B3 front shock tower. It just looks like an absolute clone in so many regards. They must have been stealing from each other back then, or one was stealing from the other. What else has it got going on here? There's a different kingpin setup here, whereas this one's got a C-hub, whereas this has got a bolt that runs through it. So the tie rod goes to the top side, whereas this one is mounted to the front side. I don't know. I'm just going to have a bit of a ball pulling them apart and going through the manual here, and also having another look online to see if there's any more information out there about them. But anyway, so somehow the heavens have delivered something super, super cool. But it's not the only cool thing that's been going on around here. And out of nowhere, again, I didn't put the call out, I didn't ask, but a friend of mine, Mark, here in New South Wales, here in Australia, he says to me, look, I want to send you a kit, I want to send you a car. And I'm like, look, honestly, I don't really need any more cars. Like, I've got plenty, but you know what? I love the fact that YouTube and social media has created this really great network now. We've got this little community around us, and Keith has really painted that picture to me, because here's a guy who's only been into it for 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it's been now, and out of nowhere, Glenn Barclay from over on Tamiya Legends and RC Legends helped him promote RC Icons for Keith, and so early on Keith kind of got a bit of a help with promotions from Glenn, and out of nowhere now Keith has got so many new friends in RC. He's got such a big following, and it also helps that he's such a lovely, fantastic guy. He's so generous, he's so giving, and that guy, he works so hard in his job. He's such a good mate, and we've had so many good discussions, and obviously you saw him come out here in Australia, and I put him up he was here for 16 days total, and day 1 to day 16 was a blast. It was awesome. But so anyway, boom, out comes one of these things. So I've been on the fence about the re-release Yokomos, and do I think it's really cool? Absolutely. I've been racing the Yokomo 870 over the years, an original one, for such a long time, and I remember my earliest times when I was involved with the Bormac Club. I used to see the 870 run around, and I just thought it was one of the coolest things ever, and it really is. I still think the 870C body, the Japanese 870C body set, is just so cool. So yeah, this was the Japanese market release, and I know sort of Australasia, I think they went out to us as well, and then the Americans got the YZ10, which had the white wheels, the different body set. But yeah, this is a re-release 870C kit. Now, the purpose of this video will be, well, the purpose of this kit will be to make a video, and what I want to do is a full breakdown. Now, I already own probably 5 870C/YZ10 chassis in different variations, but I do have an original, a completely stock original, every part for the 870C on a shelf car built that I've had going for many years now. So what I was thinking about doing was actually tearing that thing down and building them side by side and doing a comparison build. So I think that'd be awesome for the viewers out there who want to actually check out what it's like to build the modern version of the 870C. Now, I already know, and I'm sure so do you and everyone else, that, you know, this kit, there are changes. You know, it does come with gear diffs. The shocks were different, you know. I never liked the shocks on these re-releases. I think they're, I don't know. I'd have to build it to really appreciate whether they're actually any good or not. But I think I'll have to just build it and then let you know. But to be honest with you, the original shocks in the 870C functioned terribly. They look cool, but they didn't work very well. I know they leaked and they played up and they had very soft springs. And the first thing they did was throw associated shocks and gold shocks on these cars. You know, I don't remember anyone ever running an IFMAR with the original shocks, unless someone can prove it to me. I don't think there ever was. I'm sure that was one of the first things that they took off. But so yeah, this car out of the box, you know, even back in the day, it was had full bearings, universals front and rear, you know, graphite chassis and shock towers. It was lightweight. It was easy to work on, and no doubt this car is going to be very much the same as that. You know, if you want to pull the diffs out, it's just a matter of 4 screws, pretty much. Release the shock, the aluminium diff housing caps. They come off. They're easy. So if you want a vintage racer, they're probably going to be a very good car for that still. Now, I have seen Dwayne run his at the Vintage Bash this last year, and I'm pretty sure that car was very close to stock, including the tyres, and we saw that in one of the previous videos to this one. And not only that, Mark said to me, you know what, I'm also going to send you a full set of the pink JC Racing wheels in 2.2 with the correct offset, so they're the deep offset. If people do or don't realise, there's a narrow and a deep offset of these rims. He also sent me a wider set of front UJs so that I can run the wider stance on the front, because the front suspension arm always had 2 sets of holes on the outside pivot pin there. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the car, give it a wide stance, and yeah, probably fit it with some vintage electronics, and who knows, just I don't know which direction this car is going to go. I already have a really good, fully modified, you know, 870C that I've been had in my collection for years, which I drive and race and love it, and I've only ever raced that car in modified. It's never had a silver canner in it or a stock motor. It's always been run as fast as I could drive it or not drive it. So, yeah, the jury's out for now, but here it is. So thank you very much to Mark, and thank you very much to my mysterious benefactor for these 2 amazing things over here. And no doubt, so I'm sure I'm going to have to talk to my buddy Nathan Marsh, because I know he's just absolutely frothing for a car. And, you know, I'm going to pull them down, clean them up, rebuild them, and then just see what from there. Because I don't have any spare parts for these cars. If I break an arm or a hub, you know, good luck finding parts for them, unless they, you know, cross over with something else that Kyosho may have re-released. But anyway, so that might be it for this video. Thank you very much for choosing to stop in. I really appreciate the support. The channel's now got a new track action camera. That's great. The drone's still working well. I'm going to continue learning some more things about applying these cameras to the sort of shots I want to get on the track, because you know, looking back, if I didn't get them and others didn't go for it and get them, we just forget about these events. So I think it's very important to hold on to them, and for us to be able to share them with those who can't get there. So anyway, I'm just waffling now. Thanks very much for choosing to stop in and check out the video. Please subscribe if you haven't. To those who have subscribed recently, thank you very much. I appreciate you jumping on board and continuing to follow my journey with Vintage RC. Thank you very much, guys, and see you on the next one. Bye now.